Chapter 307, Annihilating the Demon Whale King, Variant Deathgod Domain, TL by Bagelson. The blood-red ring winding around Tang San seemed absolutely terrifying, emanating an ice-cold bloody light all over. His movements seemed a bit sluggish, but in fact, the deep-sea demon whale king fully enveloped by his mental strength found it impossible to escape. If he turned and ran, he would only die even faster from the pull of the killing intent. The deep-sea demon whale king just couldn't understand how Tang San's strength could actually explode with such terrifying energy. He basically couldn't imagine it. The strength Tang San now revealed was already several times that of his spirit power, especially that terrifying slaughter aura wasn't even the domain influencing the surroundings, but influencing all of nature. Tang San felt something different right now. When facing Chen Renshu, he had once also detonated several spirit rings, but at that time he had exploded the blue-silver emperor's spirit rings, and not the clear sky hammers. Now that the clear sky hammer's last 6 spirit rings exploded, he just felt as if something appeared in his mind, some energy seeming to separate the sea god's light from his mind. Moreover, all of his blood seemed to boil, his vision turning blood red. All that he saw was the deep-sea demon whale king's powerful armored body, and his way of thinking also turned certain in victory. All his strategies and intelligence was this moment completely replaced by intense fighting spirit. All he could feel was burning heat. The energy inside him was like an erupting volcano, constantly surging within, looking for somewhere to drain out. The sounds of the outside world were already completely isolated by that enormous energy. All Tang San could hear was his pounding heart. Tang San could clearly feel his body reach an extreme limit, like if he increased a speck more energy he would explode. Slaughter energy spread madly in the air, and even the Shrek 6 devils who knew Tang San best had no idea what the red color around Tang San was. But even at the edge of the demon whale territory, they could still clearly feel how utterly terrifying the energy Tang San radiated was. If it erupted, it would definitely shake heaven and earth, make gods and devils weep. The deep-sea demon whale king had existed for a million years, and naturally wouldn't just wait for death. Sensing Tang San's power, it seemed to turn crazy. Placing both hands over its heart, its palms just on that gem containing a whirlpool on its chest, terrifying energy suddenly burst out, the immense energy waves instantly leaping up. With a loud explosion, the deep-sea demon whale king's armor burst, once again returning to energy as that purple whirlpool hiding the sky reappeared, forcibly turning the red air near him purple. Even though the completely suppressed aura couldn't counter, it still competed with Tang San as peers. This was the depth of a million-year spirit beast. Even though the deep-sea demon whale king didn't have as many abilities as Tang San, nor did it have the great Sumeru hammer to instantly erupt with several times its strength. If it burned a million years of accumulation, it could still equally reach the god level for a short time. Not one of the Shrek 6 devils didn't clench their fists, especially Xiao Wu only felt like her heart would jump out of her throat. They all knew that the last moment had arrived. Whether Tang San could kill the deep-sea demon whale king was decided here. Before coming here, Tang San had properly planned out what they should do, and besides Ning Rongrong, the others were at least somewhat unhappy. To Dai Mubai and Oscar it seemed like they should focus the strength of all 7 to kill the deep-sea demon whale king together. Letting Tang San go alone really was too dangerous. However, after they saw the scene before them, they understood how correct Tang San's choice was. With their strength still short of title Douluo, facing an enemy like this was basically hopeless. If they were on the battlefield now, then perhaps. At the same time they also understood the difference between them and Tang San might never be overcome. Right now Tang San had truly become a peak power. Tang San and the deep-sea demon whale king moved simultaneously, with practically no time between them. This was no longer a probe, but rather a true all-out attack. A piercing red light rendered the clear sky hammer Tang San held completely red. The inexhaustible red light instantly expanding, and a strange scene appeared. The red figure behind Tang San instantly dashed forward, merging together with him. In the eyes of everyone present, Tang San disappeared, matching together with that red shadow. Looking carefully, it actually looked like Tang San expanded until he was as enormous as that red shadow, making man and shadow indistinguishable. Moreover, the clear sky hammer originally held by Tang San was also held in the hand of that giant shadow, along with a roar like a primeval devil god. Without any embellishment, the clear sky hammer struck. At the same time as the hammer swung, behind the giant shadow appeared a circular complex magic pattern. The pattern was large, actually reaching 100 meters in diameter, hiding the sky and covering the earth. If Helena was here, she would definitely be shocked to discover that this pattern was the Deathgod domain she and Tang San obtained together. Only now this enormous domain pattern was filled with indescribably enormous energy terrifying to the extreme. All creatures that witnessed this scene were shocked to the bottom of their heart, their bodies trembling and unable to move. What was this energy? How did Tang San's Deathgod domain actually turn this powerful now, with power like a god? That was because his current Deathgod domain was no longer the original domain. It had evolved to another level. Only much later, after Tang San had inherited the sea god, did he understand what had happened. Behind the deep-sea demon whale king again appeared that enormous whale image, this time its whole body exploding in that enormous purple whirlpool, as if the whirlpool in the sea was brought into the sky. The smashed armor plus all its energy was completely poured into this one attack. That giant whirlpool actually instantly turned around, meeting that incredible blood red clear sky hammer like a needle. Red and purple, 2 lights instantly clashed. Even space seemed to warp violently. What everyone saw became unreal. The sea level suddenly fell 100 meters, actually, compressed to form a giant hole by that berserk energy. Practically the entire demon whale territory was in the same state. The Shrek 7 devils and the devil spirit great white sharks were also pushed down without any suspense, and even the 100,000-year spirit beast Xiao Bai was unable to stay on the surface. Inwardly trembling, they didn't even dare resist the terrifying energy, and as after they were pushed below the surface, they also instantly felt the water pressure actually strengthen tenfold. This was clearly also because of the energy in the air. Boom, that sky, that sea. In this moment they seemed to become fixed. That terrifying red and enormous purple color converged in the air, then actually compressed into a point and again exploded violently. The incomparable energy wave made the ocean roar, and within a several 100-meter range, enormous tsunamis instantly rose. The sky suddenly became hazy, the dazzling sunlight no longer visible, as if even the sun had turned mixed red and purple. The enormous energy wave shook the whole world. Even the god of angels Chen Renshu on a distant shore sensed the power of this strike. The enormous energy wave shattered space, countless enormous rifts appearing in the air, frantically swallowing atmosphere and all that the air contained. 2 figures separated nearly instantly. The giant red shadow disappeared. The purple demon whale image equally shattered. Only the 2 remaining human bodies instantly separated several 100 meters. Right between them, countless berserk energies lashed the sky. This was also why the sky changed. In that violent clash, even they themselves were unable to control this mad energy. The clear sky hammer disappeared from Tang San's hand. The 8 spirit rings all broken. The clear sky hammer couldn't survive this brutal attack. The deep-sea demon whale king's purple armor also disappeared, its completely uncovered body constantly trembling. Blood flowed like wriggling serpents from Tang San's mouth, ears and nose, dripping to the surface of the sea and actually constantly exploded like small bombs. Even the energy contained in the blood was so terrifying, clearly showing how desperate that strike was. Tang San didn't tremble like the deep-sea demon whale king. His waist was still perfectly straight, even though his face was pale as paper. The killing intent in his eyes hadn't weakened at all. The deep-sea demon whale king was a bit stronger than him, and even though he trembled, he still only bled from the mouth. Already being 99% god level, he was clearly better off than Tang San. However, visible injuries didn't mean everything. Even though Tang San was seriously hurt, the attack produced by that enormous red shadow had already broken the deep-sea demon whale king's belief in victory. At this moment, the heart of this powerful million-year spirit beast was actually filled with fear. The obviously already hurt Tang San was in his eyes like facing an undefeatable devil god. In the million years since it started cultivating, it had only felt this way once. That was when he faced the sea god of yore, and moreover lost one eye to the sea god. Only at that time had he felt as powerless as now. The deep-sea demon whale king's reason was still present. He did his best to tell himself that this human was already extremely weak, and couldn't possibly defeat him. But that heartfelt shiver, as well as the past fear branded deep in his heart's blood, still made him unable to think of attacking. All he could think of at this moment was only to escape. All the bones in Tang San's forelimbs were shattered, the energy channels within his body just as chaotic as when he detonated all his spirit rings when fighting Chen Renshu. But his fighting spirit still held him up. He would never let himself collapse before he killed the enemy before him. Placing a crystal caterpillar sausage in his mouth, facing the trembling deep-sea demon whale king gazing at him while slowly backing away, Tang San didn't even wait for the sausage to take effect before he dashed forward. At this moment, his condition made it impossible for him to move very fast, but it was flying at this speed that still made the deep-sea demon whale king's fear multiply exponentially. The deep-sea demon whale king was unable to pull himself together. With a strange roar, he turned and ran. Not a chance. Two purple rays of light shot from Tang San's eyes, tearing through the sky like lightning bolts. Where they passed, even the still unhealed black voids in the air were instantly pierced through, shooting straight for the deep-sea demon whale king's head. At the deciding moment, the deep-sea demon whale king subconsciously turned around, roaring, releasing a series of circular ripples from its forehead, trying to block Tang San's full-strength purple demon eye. The purple rhine-shaped energy met Tang San's purple demon eye. There was no loud explosion, only an ear-piercing grinding sound and sparks, like countless metal pieces rubbing together. One purple energy ring after another were constantly broken by the purple demon eye's attack. The purple god light stabbed straight forward, making the already extremely frightened deep-sea demon whale king tremble even harder. He could only do his best to output his mental strength to reduce the purple god light's attack as far as possible. But at this moment, after Tang San shot the purple god light, he spun around sharply, his blood scattering into the air as he did. But these blood drops didn't go far, instead revolving around Tang San, creating a faint red haze around him as he spun. Nobody knew what Tang San was doing now. The Shrek 6 devils just now poked their heads above the water after being pushed down, just in time to see the moment the purple god light cut through the deep-sea demon whale king's defenses. The golden purple light ultimately struck the deep-sea demon whale king's head. In the air, the deep-sea demon whale king was struck stunned, but for some reason, the instant he lost consciousness, the last moment he was still aware, he suddenly felt an intense feeling of relief. The fear within his heart also seemed to disappear due to this daze. At this moment, the deep-sea demon whale king finally understood that his fear wasn't because of Tang San, but rather the result of the incomparably berserk energy from the red clear sky hammer strike invading his heart. Just what energy was that? This was his last thought before turning half unconscious. Unless it was with absolute certainty, Tang San definitely wouldn't lightly use the purple god light. Even if his mental strength had risen a lot by now, the purple god light was still an enormous burden to him. Once the battle was at this stage, he no longer held anything back, nor did he need to. Tang San's spinning came to a sudden stop, one moment moving and still the next. It seemed extremely bizarre, but the instant he stopped, a series of 9 red lines of light were thrown from his hand, and the red color previously revolving around him also disappeared. If carefully observed, it could be discovered that those 9 lines of red light were like 9 oval leaves. Besides the blood red color seeming plain and unornamented, after launching these 9 red lights, Tang San swayed violently in the air, falling through the air as if unable to support himself. But at this moment, the 8-headed fire phoenix returned from where it flew earlier, just in time to catch Tang San from below. Anyone else might be burned by the phoenix flame, but Tang San was impervious to water and fire. He really didn't care about this temperature. And after Ma Hongzhen caught Tang San, he also quickly changed back to human form, relying on phoenix ascension to hover in the air, grabbing Tang San around the ribs with both hands. He didn't recklessly pour energy into Tang San, but rather brought him to quickly retreat. The mission Tang San gave Ma Hongzhen was to support him, and now this even seemed clairvoyant. With Ma Hongzhen's help, he didn't fall into the ocean, and at the same time as Ma Hongzhen flew back, those 9 red lights also all hit the deep-sea demon whale king without suspense. The 9 red lights only hit one spot, the deep-sea demon whale king's chest. Each red light landed on the deep-sea demon whale king's body, but didn't penetrate, instead exploding. Amidst 9 successive explosions, a large hole was blown in the deep-sea demon whale king's defenseless body. His whole chest seemed to produce a round window. Blood and flesh sprayed all around, and that enormous body also quickly floated backward in the air, shudderingly returning to his senses. However, everything was too late. Heart and organs were practically all destroyed, let alone when he was not yet a god. Even a true god might not recover from such severe wounds. The deep-sea demon whale king's gaze was a bit lifeless, but he was still able to float in the air. Gazing at Tang San, his eyes revealed an unreconciled expression, but that too was finally replaced by deathly stillness. He wanted to say something, but as he opened his mouth, only purple black blood flowed out. Finally, this powerful million-year spirit beast was no longer able to support himself. The 3-meter-tall body fell from the sky in a giant cloud of blood, falling straight into the ocean. Having lost the energy support, he was also no longer able to stay in human shape. As he fell, the deep-sea demon whale king returned to its demon whale body, and the 200-meter-long giant form smashed into the surface of the sea. In the front half of his body was an enormous wound that almost cut him apart. The enormous body hit the water, and the sea was instantly dyed red by its blood. Surging energy waves then erupted. Another round of tsunami scattering. With Xiaobai's strength, even unprepared, she still quickly left, bringing Ning Rongrong down to the bottom of the sea to avoid the waves. Seeing the deep-sea demon whale king as dead as could be, Tang San finally heaved a sigh of relief, gulping for air. This battle had exhausted him completely. He might have looked like he always held the advantage, but Tang San knew that if the deep-sea demon whale king's courage wasn't broken, the outcome of this battle might be in the air. He at least had the ability to make both suffer. His powerful body wasn't so easily killed either. Thinking of this, Tang San couldn't help automatically recalling that enormous red light from before. When he raised the clear sky hammer, his whole body had been wrapped up in an incomparably enormous energy. Even though that energy was ice cold, it was vast, and also raised his confidence and imposing mana to an all-new peak. In that instant, Tang San had clearly sensed his level increasing a bit more. It wasn't his spirit power increasing, but rather his mental strength that rose to another level, making him able to completely control his presence, imposing mana as well as fighting spirit. He still didn't have enough experience with this kind of feeling, but Tang San was certain that being able to kill the deep-sea demon whale king at such a small price was definitely closely related to that red light. In fact, it was this red light that helped him to complete the mission so smoothly. The effects of the crystal caterpillar sausage began to show, his chaotic energy channels starting to slowly straighten out, his internal injuries also starting to recover. Meanwhile, Ning Rongrong's assistive energy landed on him once again. Having separated from the god level, the support of the 7 lines of light roused his spirit power again, letting him feel much more comfortable. Tang San indicated for Ma Hongzhen to let go of him. Having recovered somewhat, he could fly on his own again. 8 lines of golden light fell from the sky, shooting straight into the sea, all stabbing the deep-sea demon whale king's enormous corpse. That was the draining golden threads from the 8 spider lances Tang San unfolded. Even though the deep-sea demon whale king was dead, the enormous energy within that body wouldn't dissipate so quickly. How could Tang San give up on a chance like this, especially now that his spirit power was largely consumed? Without the deep-sea demon whale king to control its body, the 8 spider lances draining ability showed its full effect, draining at a rate several times faster than before. The enormous spirit power was constantly swallowed into Tang San's body, making his spirit power rapidly recover. While draining, Tang San couldn't help secretly sighing. This deep-sea demon whale king's accumulation really was too deep. How could a million years of cultivation be ordinary, if not for having limited combat abilities and being restrained by his sea god's light and the final form Deathgod domain? Talking of defeating it would just be lunatic ravings. Even if Chen Rinchu confronted it in the ocean, it would still be very difficult to kill it without the attribute restraint. In just 10 minutes, Tang San's spirit power was already nearly fully restored, and with the effect of the crystal caterpillar sausage, his body was already completely recovered. The only thing that couldn't be healed was his tired mind. In this battle, Tang San had again exhausted his wits and resources, not any less than when he faced Chen Rinchu. However, no matter how tired he was, he still couldn't rest. Everyone hurry over. Use flying mushroom sausages. Tang San loudly called to his companions. Everyone had seen the deep-sea demon whale king being killed by Tang San before, and couldn't help cheering, even though they didn't know Tang San had already recovered. Seeing him fly on his own, they knew he didn't suffer any major wounds. As Tang San called out, they each ate Oscar's flying mushroom sausage and each flew into the air, arriving by Tang San. Little San, what were those last red light of yours? How come it was so powerful? Bai asked before he had even reached Tang San. Tang San said, that was a kind of hidden weapon, and also one of the strongest hidden weapons, called body blood. It pours the user's spirit power into his blood, focusing and solidifying it, then uses a special technique to cause incomparable explosive power as it hits the enemy. After I used my full strength attack against him, I had already released my blue silver emperor game before the blood light disappeared, and relied on its energy and my last remaining spirit power to launch that attack. If I still didn't kill him, I would be a lamp drained of oil. Otherwise, how could I not even fly? Indeed, the last 9 lines of red light Tang San launched at the end was the second ranked hidden weapon in the Tang Sect hidden weapon 100 manual. On the ranking it was second only to Guanyin Tears. Its penetrative power was less than the Guanyin Tears, but its might wasn't any less. The reason it was called body blood wasn't just because it was shaped like a body tree leaf. body tree leaf and was blood-colored, but also had another meaning. Even if an ancestral body faced this attack, he would still bleed. Of course, in the world of the Douluo Continent, there was nothing like an ancestral body, but Tang San of course wouldn't explain this. Fine, don't chat for now. Hurry up and prepare. I'll infuse the deep sea demon whale king's energy into all of you. We'll absorb it together so it will go a bit faster. Its energy is too vast. It'd be a waste if it just drained off. Perhaps this can even help us advance. While speaking, Tang San's 8 spider lances trembled slightly, producing another 7 draining gold threads, each winding around the right wrist of his comrades. This wasn't to drain, but rather in order to bridge them together. Indeed, Tang San's draining gold threads could swallow enormous energy, and also change it to the purest energy for Tang San to absorb, but the amount he could absorb on his own was still limited. Moreover, the time he had to absorb was also limited. To him, even more important was to absorb the deep sea demon whale king's spirit ring and spirit bone. Consequently, he only had 2 hours to absorb the deep sea demon whale king's energy. No matter how much they drained within this time, he had to start absorbing the spirit ring and spirit bone by the end, to complete the last mission of the sea god's 8th trial. The Shrek 7 devils were too familiar with Tang San, and even though they still didn't understand what he meant, they still immediately prepared according to Tang San's instructions. Very soon, pure and vast energy poured into them via the draining gold threads. Everyone was shocked at the same time as they hurried to absorb it. Just at the start, Tang San was worried his comrades would make a mistake from the shock, and only released a small portion of energy for them. As they absorbed faster and faster, entering a trance, he began to release even more energy for them, sharing it with his friends. The 7 flew in the sky, draining the deep sea demon whale king's energy, pulled by the draining gold threads as well as with Tang San releasing blue silver emperor to wind around their waists. They also didn't need to worry about falling. Of course, Tang San wouldn't forget Xiaobai either. The 7 draining gold threads he released before included one for Xiaobai. To her, the deep sea demon whale king's was an enormous tonic even without being filtered. She was naturally enormously excited, and even more thankful to Tang San. In this sea region, the evil spirit Orca King and the deep sea demon whale king had been executed by Tang San, one after another, and it could be said to become the world of them devil spirit great white sharks. As the king of the devil spirit great white sharks, draining some of the deep sea demon whale king's energy might also turn her into a true overlord of the sea. Time passed minute by minute. Tang San was still fine enough. His energy channels were already at a demigod level, and both digesting and transforming went much faster, and even when filled up, he could compress it and slowly absorb it later. The others didn't have such powerful constitutions, and the weakest among them, Ning Rongrong and Oscar, could only absorb for some 10 minutes before stopping, letting Tang San release them to the sea where they sat cultivating on the devil spirit great white sharks. Even if they absorbed even more, their energy channels would be in danger of breaking up. They didn't have the freakish healing ability Tang San did with the blue silver emperor right leg bone. Even using crystal caterpillar sausages, if their energy channels burst, it would still cause them very great harm. Not only wouldn't it help them advance their strength, it might even cause them to regress. Zhu King, Daimubai and Ma Hongjin lasted for more than 20 minutes before reaching the same condition. Everyone had cultivated for many years, and they all understood the meaning of biting off more than one could chew. They didn't force themselves, and descended to the sea to cultivate. As for Xiao Wu, she persisted in absorbing the deep sea demon whale king's energy with Tang San the whole way, even though Xiao Wu's spirit power was the weakest among all of them, only at rank 76, having once used 2 heavenly treasures like the crystal blood dragon ginseng and yearning heartbroken red. The power of her physique was close to Tang San's. Consequently, her endurance was the strongest, especially when she was a former 100,000-year spirit beast. She was stronger than the others in absorbing and comprehending energy. As a result, she could endure the whole time. Of course, this was also related to her way of thinking. Having listened to Tang San recount his life and death battle with Chen Ringshu, and now seeing his difficulty in battling the deep sea demon whale king, Xiao Wu's heart was filled with pain that she couldn't help Tang San. Therefore, she longed even more for powerful strength to help Tang San face powerful enemies in the future. With her obsessive mindset, her potential could naturally be displayed to the greatest degree. Time ticked past, and Tang San always controlled the draining gold threads in order to exploit as much as possible of the deep sea demon whale king's energy. After his comrades finished absorbing, he placed draining gold threads on the devil spirit great white sharks that carried them. He wouldn't let them work for nothing. The devil spirit great white sharks were naturally ecstatic. The energy filtered by the draining gold threads was extremely pure, and absorbing it was hardly difficult for them, and their cultivation instantly rose considerably. In fact, cultivation was even more difficult for spirit beasts than for humans, having to be piled up over a long time. With Tang San's help, they could save a lot of cultivation time, and would at least have a chance to attack the 100,000-year cultivation more than 10,000 years before their clansmen. They naturally shed tears of gratitude towards Tang San. The draining gold threads constantly changed position on the deep sea demon whale king, because after each place was absorbed for a time, it would completely dry out from being drained of energy and vitality. At the same time, Tang San also searched for the things he wanted. As the time approached, Tang San probed the deep sea demon whale king's circumstances through the draining gold threads and his own mental strength. Golden light flashed, the draining gold threads withdrew, and Tang San's eyes turned gold. He smiled at Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu slowly opened her eyes, revealing a joyful smile. GE, my spirit power is already rank 80, and I still feel like I could keep absorbing. This deep sea demon whale king's energy really is enormous. Once I have my 8th spirit ring, my spirit power might increase even further. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.